Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is the Expansion channel, and I'm Ezra Silver.
And I'm Ocean Iridescence.
This is a channel where we talk about magic through the lens to our excitements. And now we're going to do our incantation. I enter
this
space with
an
open mind. Everything unrelated. I now leave behind. I trust this flow. I have chosen to guide me, listening
to the
beat of the heart inside me. I know this to be true of who I am on this day. Releasing who I knew myself to be yesterday. I walk path of growth and compassion, open to the possibilities I cannot yet imagine. So today we're not going to read. We are going to talk about Weirdbrook because Ocean is in the middle of packing to go for a whole month. And so like in 5 or 6 hours, you're going to be heading to the airport. And so we're kind of just going to do a briefing for that experience for them and talk a little bit about, I also just came back about a month ago from spending 2 weeks there. So I feel like this will be good information for anybody thinking about spending some time up there in the future. And at some point after Ocean's process, we'll be putting together like a documentary style series on that with their footage. So yeah.
Yay! I'm so excited. Hello. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, I forgot. Maybe I should make a post in the community because they usually like it when we post that we're going live.
Totally.
Do you mind if I do that real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'm back.
My whole music.
I literally thought my microphone was messing up, like my speaker. Hello. Hi, Lady Dynamite. The topic today is Weirdbrook. So I will be going to Weirdbrook for a whole month, and I'm leaving out on a plane today. I am so excited. I live on the opposite side of the country as Weirdbrook. And so this will be a whole journey for me. And I have this personal goal in life to meet all of the different oceans. And so far I've only met the Pacific Ocean. And so I'm really excited to meet the Atlantic Ocean. That's like really exciting for me.
Have you even been on this coast before?
I have not. The furthest east I've been has been Tennessee. There might be singing. It's not impossible.
Singing? Oh, I mean, we've done some improv singing before together, like as part of a warm up, and it was actually really cool. I really like doing that. So that's not, That's
That
not
was a
against the
super
vibe.
fun. That was a super fun exercise. Yeah, I would be super down to. We should have like a musical episode of the expansion channel. That would be so great.
So yeah, what uh my first kind of the question that comes up is what are you working on right now that Weird Brook is like meeting you with like the
Like my
either
shadow,
what's that?
like my shadow work. Is that
Yeah, or manifestation work or just like where are you at and what is because that's I feel like gonna be the entry point that Weird Brook is gonna find you at.
yeah, it's really interesting because I get that feeling too that like so my shadow work right now is releasing isolation. I have been in hermit mode for about I want to say since COVID, probably like 6 years now. I've really been, keeping to myself, even if unwillingly I enter into the social sphere outside of my house. But I've begun to do that intentionally and more willingly recently. And it's led to some really amazing conversations with strangers who uh, every single conversation led back to me talking about Weird Brook without me ever mentioning it at the beginning of it. Like one person was talking about homesteading to me, and then we started talking about aliens, and I was like, "Oh, you clocked me as a weirdo. That's awesome." And I got to talk about the community, and I got to talk about Weird Brook, and then uh, I usually do my hair myself, and I had somebody else do my hair this time because I really wanted that rainbow sort of effect. I don't know if you guys can see it with the lighting, how it is,
Yeah, we
but,
can.
um, yeah, I really wanted a rainbow mohawk for Pride Month, so I was really stoked about that, and that those conversations all led back to the community and to talking about Weird Brook. We were talking about shadow work, and like connection and what does it really mean to connect with people and what does uh how do people's compatibilities meet each other or conflict with each other. Like we were having really cool conversations about that, and I really like what they were saying about, well, I found it really interesting what they were saying about being somebody who needs to stay inside. Like that's really important to them because that was so important to me previously. And like when they said that and I felt like, no, I want to go on an adventure, it was like a really big clue to me. And also my astrology right now has been like, get out of your comfort zone, get lost, just do something that you don't know what the outcome will be. You need to do something where you have no idea what will happen next. And so I'm boarding a plane in, like you said, about 5 hours to do just that. And yeah, I just keep having unexpected conversations with strangers. And to me, Weird Brook is going to be the most unexpected conversation with the strangest of strangers, is like what it feels like. I'm being like prepared for, if that makes sense.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Um, when you said previously, so hermit mode and previously being somebody who it was really important that they be able to stay inside. I definitely relate to that. And I always kind of go back to this song. I even, when I was in clown makeup, did it. And it was such an iconic line for me because this all does feel like it's very, um, it's like coming out after COVID
Yeah.
is very highlighted. I also feel like I was in hermit mode for a long time and even just growing up, being stuck in your room. So the the comedy special, which is really actually kind of sad, but it is funny too, called Inside. There's this line that always goes through my head and it went through my head again when you said it was important that you stay inside. Um, so he goes, well, well, look who's inside again. Went out to look for a reason to hide again. Well, well, buddy, you found it. Like, I liked that line so much that my partner did needlepoint of the words, well, well, look who's inside again. And I've been also trying to get outdoors a lot and leading up to Weirdbrook and at Weirdbrook and since as well. So I think there's a literal coming out in addition to the pride stuff, right? Like it's literally coming outside. Um,
Yeah.
and relearning the safety of being out in the world.
Wow, that is such a great way to put that. And it's also really cool because we've been having conversations in the community about how uh, declaring that you're a witch is another coming out as well.
Mhm.
Uh, and I very specifically, as I was preparing for this trip, normally when I'm traveling, I try to make myself small and unnoticeable so nobody will like talk to me because I
Mhm.
normally try to avoid new experiences, or I used to. But now, I'm sorry, this time as I was preparing, I specifically prepared in a way that uh, was fully expressive. Excuse me, is like probably the best way I can put that. Like the rainbow hair and it's a mohawk and uh yeah, I mean that's probably the most expressive part. I have a they them mask that I'm gonna wear that says like my pronouns on the mask. And just specifically being myself out loud so that other people like me know that I'm there, that I'm creating the presence that I want to see like around me, that creating the presence that allows other people to be authentic, even if that means that there might be conflict. Because that's, I think, what I've been most afraid of is what if there's conflict and I can't handle it, or what if there's conflict and I'm attacked? Like seriously, like my brain is just like, what if somebody gets mad at me and just decides to like jump me, which has not happened recently. Uh, but uh it's it's so polarized right now that I feel really strongly about stepping into my power to help with the polarization, because if somebody is going to be loud in a space and polarize it towards like hatred or unkindness, then I'm going to be polarizing like that space right back, even if it's like a whole airport. That's like, no, there's going to be compassion here. There's going to be love here. There's going to be uh, communication here. There's going to be safety here because I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of our job. Like, and I won't speak for you, but I know we've talked a little bit about this, but being, gender fluid and trans and queer um, and also white people at the same time, right? Like there's a bridge that we occupy, that we are like building between those like two identities of marginalization and privilege type of thing. Um, and especially because we have so much shadow work under our belt and nonviolent communication and, like a dash of the work and pedagogy of the oppressed and like all of the various things that we, study and talk about, in addition to being psychic as hell, right? Uh, we get to be the bridge between that polarity and, uh, occupy that space. Um, and just by being out in the world, like you said, and being this presence, you give people permission to be how they are and show anyone out in public that who might be who might have never met a queer person, right? Like, and only been told like how, dangerous or deviant or uh, whatever, insert, negative framework here. Um, Suddenly they're just like, oh, this is a person, right? This is somebody who's on a plane with me. This is somebody who's at the grocery store with me. Um, and of course, signaling to the other queer people and witches and weirdos that uh, it's actually safe to be there. Actually had a really cute experience at the grocery store with this, you know, early 20 something like coming up to me that worked there. And like I was having trouble at the self checkout and I was like, oh no. And she just like popped up, or they just popped up, and they were like, oh, hi, let me help you with that. And they were just like, also, I just wanted an excuse to like talk to another queer person, right? Like, yeah, like this. It was so cute. Like, you could just
Aw.
tell that she doesn't like it, that they don't get to talk to people all the time, um, that are like them. And it was cool. Um, it just gave me some, happy feels, and definitely makes sense that that memory came up during this conversation. So let me go to the bathroom. And in the meantime, I think I will ask you, what is what's the part of Weirdbrook that you are looking forward to the most based on what you've heard or seen in videos or anything,
That's a
Morgan,
good question.
yeah, Jen Marie have talked about. So
Yeah. Let's see. Uh, what am I looking forward to most in Weirdbrook? Honestly, I'm most looking forward to seeing the coven. I'm really looking forward. There's something, even though we interact almost every single day, I get to interact and work with and collaborate with members of my coven. There is nothing like being in person with them. I just the energy, and there's something really amazing about moving through a space where people know you, they know about you, and they know what you're like. It's it's so much less explaining, and there's a lot more intuitive understanding, and also just being in a house full of psychics is a hoot. I mean, Jen Marie talks about this sometimes, but whenever we give each other echolalia and then we all just start repeating noises or words or phrases or singing together, it's really amazing and it's very validating. um, I'm also really looking forward to I have always wanted to hold a chicken, and Morgana has told me that if I want to, I can hold a chicken while I'm there. So, and I'm also gonna meet Summer June. Oh my gosh, we were in a meeting one time, and it was while like very recently, and it was while the incubator was like holding some eggs, and one of them was hatching, so Jen Marie put her phone up to it, so while we were in the support meeting, we got to sit and watch a baby chick hatch, and we were like, "Oh, I should be live streaming this," but, there just wasn't time, it just happened in the middle of a meeting, and this little baby fought its way out of the shell, you know, because you see the cartoons, and it's like this chick that just pops up with this little eggshell, but when you're watching it in person, oh my gosh, it was, or not in person, but when you're watching it like happen in real life, it's like this little baby is like fighting its way out of this protective shell, like tooth and nail. And it's like having to take breaks and breathe. And, there's other like chicks that are pecking on it or just fall asleep on the egg. And then you gotta push them too. And it's like, so much effort to break out, and it really reminded me, it feels like a comfort zone kind of metaphor. It's like it takes so much effort to break out of your comfort zone, and that's really, I think, the biggest experience that I'm looking forward to at Weirdbrook is getting out of my comfort zone and doing something I've never done before and changing my algorithm forever in a way that just absolutely, like, what's the word? Like, catapults my expansion so that I can live a life in alignment with who I am and let go of anything that's not. And I need to understand more deeply what I want. And the only way I can do that is by experiencing different things that I think about because, you get excited about wanting to do something, but you don't actually know how it's going to feel in your body until you do it. And as an Aquarius moon, I just adore assigning meaning beforehand and emotion beforehand before doing something. But this time I'm feeling like nervous. Like I was telling Silver before we got on the live, like I'm feeling nervous, even though I feel prepared, even though I know that my friends have my back and that I'm going to be held from takeoff to landing by people who care about me and see me and hear me and care about what I want too. And uh but my nervous system just hasn't caught up to that. And I recognize that because, we don't have a lot of like nervous system regulating practices. I know that somatic work is like a whole thing now, but I have been doing somatic practices today, and I gotta tell you, there's no, like, for me so far, I've never found something that completely gets rid of the airport anxiety. So if any of you know what does that, just let me know, because although it's probably different for every nervous system, but it's just the idea of I can't just drive home. I can't just take an Uber home. I can't just leave the function if I'm not comfortable. But that's the point of the expansion right there.
Dang, you just like flowed through that answer so well. Just wanted to
Thank
comment
you.
there. I don't think you're supposed to get rid of airport anxiety entirely. I think that the way airports are set up are essentially uh, designed to torture the nervous system. So I'm not sure you're supposed to get rid of that entirely. You would have to be fully desensitized. Um,
Well, I don't want to practice that.
yeah. So I think anything that just allows you to make it through that, and that's just my perspective on it. But let's see. The
Oh, yeah. Sorry, can
Yeah,
I say something else before you bring up another topic?
yeah.
When you were talking about like how you might change the life, I love of like the people that you meet. I love how you said this is just a person I'm on a plane with, because that has been a specific focus for me too. Just to sum it up real quick, when I went to Alaska to pick up my puppy, I told myself, or no, the very first time I went on a plane for the convergence, I told myself I will be sitting next to a woman with glasses because women with glasses just feel safe to me. My therapist was a woman with glasses, we could go into that. But generally, I get a safe feeling around women in glasses. Is that, an accurate stereotype? Probably not, but that's what I thought that I wanted to see. And so that happened. But actually, it was this woman who, she totally had glasses, but we weren't actually aligned to sit together because she wanted to talk and I wanted to listen to my podcast. And so that kept, yeah, oh, I love that Lady Dynamite. She said, you will already be home in your body. Yes, I totally agree. And Lady Dynamite's been helping me with some practices somatically too. But uh, this time I've been telling myself the most perfect companion for this flight will be sat next to me. Whoever that is, it will be the most perfectly aligned person to be sitting next to me for this like flight, instead of trying to decide what I think would be best or most safe. I'm leaving it up to the unfolding of it all, I guess, is a way I would put that. So I wanted to put that out there too.
Totally. What came up when you, because you just mentioned it too, was when we were watching those hatching chicks on the live, it reminded me of each time that we had watched the puppies be born. Like it had that same kind of energy to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the breaking out of the shell, right? Like coming out, very much we've got that energy right now, right? I also really like you saying changing my algorithm forever. I wrote that down. Because I also I know we've talked a lot about this, but the way that the algorithm is set up is very reminiscent, although it is warped because of who controls it, right? But it's very reminiscent of the way the universe works, right? Like how, like what you pay attention to, the videos you watch the most are kind of like what you are drawing into your feed, right? So I do absolutely think that Weirdbrook helped me with that as well. Um, there's an energy of, I think the forest that is specifically kind of designed to help process and reboot, maybe, if that's your intention. And so that seems super highlighted for me when you were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That totally is my intention to, what'd you say? Reboot and what else?
Uh, I think I said reboot, but I don't know. But I said process. Like
Process.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
nervous system thing, right? At least for me, like trees, pretty much like the human body, like is a tree. Like your brain is the top, is the canopy and the branches, and then the vagus nerve is this big trunk, and then your gut is the roots, and everything in there. Um, and so everything, like it feels like trees specifically help by almost joining, not even almost, it is a it's a real thing. um it's just not visible. They attach to your nervous system to extend it so that you can process more, I think. um and
Yeah.
and so being around so many trees, just having so much space, um I think that's really important for people, especially neurodivergent people. Somebody that I follow, who talks about the like structural aspect of reality a lot. Talks about how people with ADHD and autism, or really any sort of neurodivergence, but those are kind of the big ones. Um, they uh, they're what is considered like a high gap uh being, essentially, is that like we are energetically huge, and our body physically can't process the amount of energy that is running through us. And that really resonated with me, especially after I was at Weirdbrook, because I remember sitting there being like, oh, I'm huge. Like I felt this connection with the trees. It felt like I went on for like miles energetically, and um, that in the spaces that we normally take up, we're cramped. Um, and so getting back out in nature and coming out, right, has been very important. A very important part of my process. And I knew that for a while, for, in my head brain, but it didn't land in my body exactly for a while because I had so much, evidence built up that it was safer to stay inside. Not just because of COVID, although COVID definitely reinforced that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, hmm.
Sorry, I'm just agreeing with you. I didn't mean to stop your train of thought.
No, no, I just was coming to a natural stopping point and seeing if there was another question that was floating up.
I'm also looking forward to seeing Salem. I'm only passing through there for we're gonna stay there for a night when I get there, but I'm really looking forward to being on the witchiest of grounds and probably the US, I guess, but or at least the most famously witchy grounds. And I had plans actually while I was there, and they all kind of got canceled. And so I just have a free day in Salem and I'm going to use it to follow my intuition. I'm not going to remake any plans. I'm literally just going to be there and do whatever feels right next and see like where it takes me. Like I'm really going to lean into the adventure of it.
I love that. Yeah, I can't wait to see. Make sure you get footage of that too. Just
Oh yeah.
whenever, one of the things that I don't know if you've been doing this at all, but it's kind of the same situation where I'll just like kind of keep my phone down and not look at it, but then just listen to my intuition and like start filming and inevitably like I don't know, 80 or 90% of the time I will catch something on my video that I I want in footage, right? There'll be a big laugh somewhere, or a bee will buzz by, or uh, there'll be some kind of flower, or just very various things that I wouldn't have caught, or if I was listening to my logic brain, I would have wanted to set up the whole situation to get the best the best footage possible. But when I just listen to like, okay, and now click record, I find that that footage works its way in to the documentary uh, in a really natural way. I feel like some of the best shots that I get are like that. So I'm excited to see how that comes up.
I love that. I'm totally going to try that. I have not tried that before. I always feel the same way. I feel like I have to set it up and make it like on purpose or like yeah, plan it out before I start recording. But I feel like that's like the lesson of this trip is that like you don't have to plan out every second and make it all perfect. You just have to be present with it. You just have to be, recording and like when you just have to listen to your body. I was literally just explaining this the other night. I had a really cool unexpected conversation with my massage therapist and her husband, and it was really, really cool because I just went over there to get a pillow because she is the most amazing massage therapist. She wants you to have all the resources, and so I told her I was having trouble with my pillow, and she was like, "Oh, here, let me, help you out with that." And, so I went over there to get it from her, and in fact, she was gonna drop it off, but I didn't see the text messages, and so it was just so, like, magical that I ended up going over there and, we had been trying to get together with them for, like, over a month to, like, have dinner and hang out before they move because 'cause they're moving in a couple months, and, uh, we just started talking about the community and about magic and about, how, uh I'm sorry, I totally forgot why I went off on this, but, like, I was literally just talking the other night about, um magic and oh my gosh, what did you say last? I'm so sorry, my brain is, like, all over the place.
That's okay. Um, I don't really remember what I said last, but you were talking about your massage therapist and what what she wanted, uh, or what she was talking about, and how much you like her. And you were talking about with her about Weird Brook. Was there something in there that you wanted to? Yeah.
It was yeah, well, it's mostly just that there was such a great conversation about the community, and we were talking about magic. Again, with, like, I had never met her husband before, and so it just felt like this another really amazing conversation with somebody I had just met. So I guess that's, kinda what it was about, but something you said triggered something we said in that conversation about, oh, I wish I could remember. I always take too long to get to the point, because I wanna give all the context, but that's just not how it works. I need to start learning how to work backwards, but oh, so yeah, maybe this was the point, but, how this whole adventure is just me leaning into what's going to happen next rather than trying to control or plan anything that, could unfold. And I don't know. Jen Marie loves a good surprise. And I feel like she purposefully hasn't been telling me, like, we have a couple of plans. Like, we're going to work on the guild workbooks. And I know that we're going to be planting some seeds and stuff. But most of my time there does not have a plan or uh, like, really anything, because Jen Marie loves the element of surprise, so I feel like there's going to be a few interesting things that I get to partake in that I don't know about, and, uh, this whole trip just feels like an unexpected journey, even though I'm the one who planned it out, but that kinda that feels like my life as well. That's, like, a great metaphor, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think that it's letting go of control and what things will look like. And the like that's such it's, I always feel like I'm bringing up nervous system stuff all the time, but that's a corrective experience, right? Like the reason we feel like we need to control is because our nervous system is heightened, and we are we've learned that if we can just control our surroundings, then maybe everything will be okay. And so literally what we're learning in this like next stage of stepping into our power is quite literally that you don't need to know everything, and things are still going to be okay actually. And every time that happens, uh you relearn safety in your body. And and then combined with the setting of Weird Brook and the emotional safety involved in, the people of Bright and Dark, like Jen Marie and Morgana, right? That is what you need to make these big changes, um, and take the next like big step into, leaning into whatever comes next. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote that down in my notes because that feels highlighted. So
Yep. Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is like I'm going to a homestead that's run by 2 really powerful matriarchs as I am exploring my own sort of inner mother archetype, inner matriarch, and what does that look like for me as somebody who doesn't have children and is not really planning on, carrying on the family line in any sort of way because that's some patriarchal nonsense. And so, what does it mean to be a matriarch when you are just you? Um, and as we enter Cancer season, it's really cool. So I'll be doing my Cancer, the fourth house, and the moon workshop uh on is it the 21st? The event is in the community app if you guys want to join the community app. I know the people here who are already in the community app, but just for the recording's sake. So I'll be doing that workshop from Weirdbrook, and I'm really excited for it because I feel like I'm going to learn a lot, because I learn by trying on perspectives. Is it feels like a really big facet to my learning. So getting to go into this space with these two really powerful matriarchs and sorceresses and uh just incredible people, I will get to, and also, the whole coven is visiting, so I kind of get to explore this with, I mean, not the whole coven. We are missing a couple of witches, and I'm very sad about that. But there will be a few of us gathering, and I'm really excited to explore this topic, like conversationally and experientially, as I navigate this space, being treated as a sovereign matriarch of my own, like in within my own self. That is a new experience as somebody who, I was the youngest in my family. I was definitely treated like the baby of the family. And I just, that sort of carried on for a long time, that I felt, the ways that people treat you that come with that, small and helpless, and somebody else is probably more qualified to do this thing because I'm just a baby, like, it was like these like thoughts that would like play through my head. But now I'm stepping into, I'm capable of this. No matter what happens, I can help. And what do I feel called to do? And I'm having a lot more productive questions coming through my head than, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? Which I feel like was a lot of my thought process beforehand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I always that what that brought up for me was there was like a study about the way that we treat, you know, girls and boys differently, like from the time that we like pretty much since they're born, within like seconds, there is actually a difference of how down to like, how close the mother holds the child sometimes. And
Yeah.
then 18 months, there was a study that was like seeing what, observing girls and boys on a playground that were about 18 months old. And for girls, they were more likely to be helped even when they didn't need help. And for
Mm.
boys, they were more likely to be denied help even when they did. And
Wow.
yeah, and there was this, so I think about that, study a lot, and that kind of learned helplessness that's involved there, and how that, for girls or AFAB people, um, ends up being uh, a way to keep them from their power. And it feels also like, for the boy aspect of it, a way to keep them in like this scarcity. The world is harsh and it's a dog eat dog world type of mentality. Um, which you can see why the like loneliness epidemic might be happening to them. Um,
Yeah.
at the same time as uh, women and AFAB people are stepping into their power. And you touched on a really something that I've been rolling around in my head and trying to figure out how to articulate um, about matriarchy. And I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but it's really been like, circling the drain for me recently. Like, and the what matriarchy means, right? And less in a gender focused way, because
Mhm.
though gender obviously is an important part of this conversation, um, to me, matriarchy has this emphasis. It's like the inner matriarch, right? Like energetically, there is something matriarchal happening, more so than like women need to have all positions of power, and and uh, it needs to look this way from the outside, right? Everybody has internal masculine and feminine aspects, and the way that I see this looking, like especially for gender nonconforming, gender queer people, although probably everyone else too, to an extent, but especially for us, like we, um, so on a scientific level, every baby starts out as one thing, one sex, and and the term that we've given to that sex is female. And then something happens, like there's a internal catalyst that creates like uh the uh, start of becoming a boy instead, like testosterone or whatever chemicals that start that process, right? So ultimately, every time I kind of have come to a revelation about my gender, it involves this idea that like we're actually all one thing, and that one thing is actually what science would call female, and men are actually a kind of woman by that estimation. And so, and there's specifically a kind of woman who can't have kids. So, under our disability paradigm, they are disabled, right? Which is why they have this whole inferiority complex about that, and need to control the means of production, right? And so, within our own internal system, we, like when I came out as a trans man initially, I was like, I know this isn't the full story, because at the same time as I was like, okay, I'm a man, I was like, but also a man is a kind of woman. So like, but how do I explain this to people? And I've just like been slowly over the last 7 years, like circling the way that my way of being moves. And I know I don't really have to explain it. It's always fun to see how people see it sometimes, in real time. Um, but there's this cyclical aspect of like, sometimes I feel like I'm a trans man. Sometimes I feel like for the majority of the time, I'm like in the middle somewhere, right? That's where like the non-binary aspect comes. And then at some point I'll come back around and be like, am I a woman? But I don't feel like I've gone back. I feel like I've gone forward. So sometimes I'll sit there and be like, why do I feel like a trans woman right now? Right. And then I'll do like another whole sequence, right? It's very like cyclical. And systems thinking, right? Which is also inherently matriarchal. And so what that means for me, it's gonna be different for every person. Like for some people, it is going to look like I am part of this organization that has only, expressively women, like she, her, women in charge, or lesbian. I feel like the word lesbian is becoming much more popular, like these days, right? And I think people are starting to embrace that. There's even a kind of mentality around the word lesbian that it is specifically like apart from the idea of men. So it's its own like thing, which I really enjoy. Like I won't go super deep into that, but the idea would be that this isn't opposing men. This isn't saying non-men specifically. It's saying, what if I just completely didn't contrast myself to a man, right? Didn't
Right.
start that as the default and then push off of it. What would that look like? And so when I think of matriarchy in that context, I think of it as this very like, what parts of me are the feminine? What parts of me are the shadow? Because they're very deeply intertwined. What parts of myself do I want to now elevate, so that their voice is heard, which is also for me the body, right? I feel like the body is an inherently feminine aspect in our culture, the way that we that things are. Um, and so when we lean into those things, when we lean into the land, when we lean into the body, when we lean into um, uh, disability rights or child rights or um, the any type of human rights for the vulnerable, right? We are doing this matriarchal work, even if it doesn't look uh, the way that like femininity is is thought to look, or even if it doesn't come with, you know, she her pronouns, or um, the I guess womanhood as the like foundation. Although I do think there are lots of incarnations of it that will, because so many people resonate with that word and are reclaiming their uh, their womanhood after having it denied from them for so long. So, okay, I'm gonna stop there and let you contribute.
No, I think you made a lot of good points. And yeah, I totally resonate, especially as like a fellow gender fluid, non-binary person who for a long time it felt like I was forced into femininity. And so my oppositional defiance is like, absolutely not. You're not going to put me in a box. And uh you know, it just felt like femininity felt like a demand. And then I feel like the final nail in the coffin was when I went to aesthetic school and I learned that beauty is a control system. It's and the books written on it are so atrocious. Like the Macmillan, I'm pretty sure that our textbook was a Macmillan one for aesthetic school. And I'm like, I was really appalled by a lot of the concepts of like how they base things on beauty. And it just doesn't seem very accurate or inclusive to skin types. And also, like, I thought it would be honestly, my idea of doing like facials and makeup and stuff for people is like to make not make them, but like support them in relaxing and support them in expressing themselves and support people in um feeling cared for. Whereas like in school, they were like, make it, upsell it and make people feel bad to sell more services. And uh, yeah, all of this sort of capitalism thinking. And so I was like, well, fuck that. I'm quitting. I'm quitting this. I'm not going to shave anymore. I'm not going to um keep doing my makeup every day. At school, we had to wear makeup every single day. Uh, and they make you feel like if you're not wearing makeup, then you're a slob. And how could you possibly go to work like that? You can't work if you don't look good. And that's just a huge lie, especially as a disabled person, like being able to the job that I have now, being able to do it literally in my bed. Because if I have to attend a meeting, I can just have my camera off and I can literally be laying down while I'm in that meeting. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nobody shaming me. There's also nobody being like trying to save me or rescue me. It's literally just like, yeah, we're like me and all my friends are disabled and we want to make the world a better place for people like us, for people who are disabled, for people who are queer, for witches, for uh, and, marginalized people is, I think, a good way to sum that up, or oppressed people, since we've been talking about potato.
Yes.
Because I can't say the title, so I'm gonna be calling it potato from now on. So now you guys know what I'm talking about.
You can say
Um,
the title. It doesn't matter how you pronounce. I was just thinking about the other day how pedagogy actually sounds like so much better to me than pedagogy. Like, so you can say it however you want, but you can also just call it potato because that's really fun. So,
Yeah, it's that word really gets me. Pedagogy. I don't know.
doesn't
It's a
matter.
word, definitely, but
All
it
words
really
are
gets
made
my
up and points
attention.
don't matter.
Yes. You know what I really like from that book though is the word praxis. And I think that's something I'm really wanting to develop for myself is like be able to walk into a situation knowing what my praxis is. Because it feels very close to practice, but in like a philosophical way. It's like, what are the principles that your witchcraft is based on? And how are you applying that? And what intention are you walking into any given situation with? Is like, it feels like kind of a baseline to be able to discern that. Because my practice, the way that I do it is all about efficiency for me. What gives me the quickest access to the feeling signature that I need, and what gives me the quickest access to the belief that I'm operating under, like, so that I can apply it and embody it in real time as much as possible. I love seeing my experience as a way to expand rather than uh just how I used to try to avoid experiences. Now I'm like, okay, like bring on the catalyst. Let's see how I can expand through this. Hello, Shadow Reader. Thank you for your blessings and positive vibes. Super appreciated. I think we're about ready to wrap up unless you had any final thoughts.
The only thing I wanted to say was the praxis. I also really like that word. And as I was going through this, the last time I read it, I didn't do like the full read through yet, but I've been reading it with my mom and grandma. And the what it struck me in the description of praxis is that I think bright and dark is set up that way already because it's two parts, right? Like it's action and reflection. And if you split the year into dark times and light times, like bright and dark, right? That is like this side of the year is action, right?
Yeah.
Next and the dark side of the year is reflection, right? And so I think already it encourages that. Whereas I think the distinction they were making it from the word praxis or from the word practice is that sometimes people think that practice just means like, every day you do your scales or practice the song, right? Like, which is just the action part of it. And that either just action or just reflection is incomplete as far as real praxis that is life changing goes. And so
Yeah.
to me, I was just like, I just wanted to throw in there that bright and dark is already set up to include that, which is why it's so powerful. Yeah.
I totally agree. Absolutely. And I guess it's more like just trusting myself that because I've been practicing this for what we've been like for 5 years now, that I'll have access to it when I need it. And I don't have to keep it in my forefront conscious all the time.
Yeah. You can tuck it away in your subconscious. I made a video because it kept coming up about the relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Because every time I think about it and I'm just like, but I just want to know, I get the Incredibles line of why do you need to know? And I get it, like it feels like my subconscious is literally like annoyed with me for needing to know everything. And it's just like, I put it away. I put the thing you didn't need away so that you like didn't have to keep running it around in your brain and burning yourself out. That's why that's why I took it from you, silly.
Like little kids pulling out their toys, like their favorite toys, and the subconscious is like, fuck, now I gotta put that away again. Oh, I didn't mean to cuss. Oh God, that's so hard.
It is. We made it through most of it.
Yeah. Go team.
Yes.
All right. Yep. High five. Love that. That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today as I prepare for my Weird Brick trip. And we'll try to be back. I'll have my laptop, so we'll be back next week unless anything changes. And if you want to stay updated on that, please join the community. I post up there whenever we're uh going live. So we have our own channel that we're building too, but still under
It's
construction.
in
So
progress. Yes.
and yeah, we don't did you want to close us out?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on the expansion channel. We hope you feel expanded and stretched out a little bit. I know I do, and we always like to do our little whirlpool of energy, movement, and we'll see you next time at Weirdbrook. And I think we'll probably do a little bit of pedagogy of the oppressed. We're going to take it as slow as necessary, though, because it is dense and just full of expansion.
It's
We'll
a
say
juicy
that.
one.
It's juicy. Yeah.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys. Thank you,
Have
Ocean.
have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.